Good morning. My name is Ross Davies.
Hi, Ross.
And I'm here on behalf of the ACD Society, a community dedicated to studying and enjoying the works of Arthur Conan Doyle. This is our third Doylean Honors ceremony held here in the mysterious Bookshop, the world's oldest and greatest mystery fiction specialty store. We owe many thanks to the great Otto Penzler, proprietor of the Bookshop. That is the world's oldest and greatest mystery fiction.
Is he also the world's oldest proprietor?
No, but in about 50 years he will be, maybe. Right? Thank you for your hospitality. Today we celebrate excellence in the Doylean community in 4 categories: fiction and poetry, visual arts, scholarly writing, and lifetime service. Mark Jones will announce the fiction and poetry honorees. Jesse Amalo will follow with visual arts, and I will announce scholarly writing and lifetime service. The performing arts category is on hiatus this January, but it will be back next January under the selection committee co-chairs Heather Holloway and Crystal Knoll, who have volunteered. Thank you. We should start, though, with a few logistical matters. I must begin with a slightly picky one, which this is slightly tongue-in-cheek, and I hope you all enjoy the way it's presented. In past years, our event agenda has included this reminder to award presenters. Please do not, under any circumstances, permit any honoree to say just a few words. As the Academy and Grammy Awards ceremonies have shown time and again, yielding the stage to an honoree is often a boring waste of time and occasionally a seriously harmful train wreck. And thus we, like the Baker Street Irregulars, wisely seek to avoid it. Besides, we don't have time. This has worked for us most of the time. In an effort to improve that to all of the time, this year we're saying it out loud. And now you've heard it. And now to a few other easier matters. First, Doylean honorees will receive a certificate, a lovely mysterious Bookshop certificate, like this one. And an award certificate like this one, but with their name on it. Second, some honorees will receive their certificates by post because traveling here today was not practical for them. Likewise, some members of the committees that selected the honorees cannot attend. That is, of course, disappointing. It is, however, a result of one of the best attributes of the ACD Society. We are a truly global community with honorees and members around the world. Third, many Doyleans who cannot be here in person are attending online, courtesy of producer Mark Jones, of the Excellent Doings of Doyle podcast, and internet wizard Matt Hall, like the Wizard of Oz, maybe he's over there, who is there streaming this right now. The camera is right here for anyone here who might want to take a moment anytime during the proceedings, obviously when someone isn't speaking, to wave at friends overseas or across the country. Fourth, the Wessex Cup. After we present the Doylean Honors, we will be running our second Wessex Cup on this lovely racetrack. Owners and trainers from the 8 stables with horses in the race are here, and they will be competing on our genuinely Victorian track. In addition, there will be an opening exhibition race between horses from 2 other stables, one owned by Rudy Altergott and the other owned by a truly mysterious celebrity, a great figure in the Doylean world, whose identity will be formally revealed, fittingly, only moments before the race. The course is short, which means the races will not take long. I hope you can stay to cheer on the champions. Fifth, while honorees will not be giving acceptance speeches, they will, I hope, be willing to chat with you about their work after the event and perhaps even inscribe copies purchased in the shop here today. And now I am pleased to pass the gavel to Mark Jones. Mark.
Thank you. Thank you, Ross. Conan Doyle's gift for storytelling is what unites Sherlockians and Doyleans, and so it comes as no surprise that we have many gifted storytellers in our ranks, both here today and, of course, joining us online. It was therefore hardly a great hardship, indeed it was a great pleasure, to serve on the Fiction and Poetry Committee, where we were entertained with submissions from far and wide that each connected in their own way with some aspect of Conan Doyle's work. I'd like to thank our committee for their diligent work in reading and reviewing this year's entries. They are in alphabetical order: Paul Chapman, Carla Coupe, Steve MX, Jay Ganguly, Masamichi Higurashi, and Sumal Surendranath. Thank you for your time. And now for our 3 Doylean honorees for fiction and poetry. Our first honoree is Derrick Belanger for his short story, The Joyce-Armstrong Confession. I'm sure Derrick is known to many of us as one half of Belanger Books, which has an impressive and ever-growing catalogue of Doylean and related fiction, but he's also a very talented writer in of his own right as well. The committee was greatly entertained by his alternative take on the horror of the heights, Conan Doyle's classic tale of a doomed aviator. Derrick, if you're around, can you come up and collect your award? Behind this table. Here we go. Here we go. Find these. This bit wasn't reversed, you can tell. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
We're going the other way past the trip hazard. Okay, thank you. Our second honoree is David Marcum for Fate's Brushes. David is a one-man manufactory of Sherlockian stories with over 100 to his name, as well as being series editor of the MX new Sherlock Holmes series and a great advocate for all things pastiche. The committee delighted in his inventive story in which Holmes and Watson are pitted against a certain uppity writer. The story opens with the memorable line, "Damn you, Doyle," I cried. David, please come up and accept your award. Thanks very much. And our third honoree is Lee Murray for Māoriland Blue. Lee is a multi-award-winning author, editor, essayist, screenwriter, and poet from Aotearoa, I say that wrong all the time, Aotearoa, New Zealand. Her Doylean honour will now sit alongside her many other commendations, which include no less than 5 Bram Stoker Awards. The committee greatly enjoyed Māoriland Blue, which expands on the terror of Blue John Gap in Lee's native New Zealand. Lee can't be with us today, but we hope she's watching and will see the recording. So congratulations, Lee. Now, before handing over to Jessie, I'd just like to make 2 very quick points on behalf of the committee, if I may. Firstly, a very big thank you to Derrick, who, in light of being unexpectedly nominated this year, stood down as chair of the Fiction and Poetry Committee at the very first opportunity, which enabled us to judge all of the submissions anonymized. So thank you very much, Derrick. And secondly, you didn't get any poetry this year. So please commune with your muse or your spirit guide and give it a go. After all, you can't be any worse than Conan Doyle. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jessie Mallié. Some of you might already know me as curator of the Toronto Public Library's Arthur Conan Doyle collection. This is my first time at the BSI weekend. This is also my first year as chair of the ACD Society Doylean Honours Visual Arts Committee, and I would like to express what an honor it has been to be selected as chair. I stepped into the role naively thinking that the visual arts would be a rather straightforward award to present. I was humbled to learn, with the help of my fellow committee members and many conversations with Ross, that the visual arts are a lot more nuanced and complex, and that there are many important considerations and details that go into the selection of the Visual Arts Award winner. Over the past year, I've had the privilege of reviewing, along with my committee members, incredible works of art that have contributed to the enduring legacy of Conan Doyle over a century after his passing. I would like to thank the committee members, Mimi Okabe, Joanna Draper-Carlson, Amanda Downs-Chaplin, Steve Doyle, and Jerry Margolin for their dedication and hard work, and extend a special thank you to Ross for all of his mentorship and guidance in this process. With that, I'm pleased to announce that the winner of the ACD Society Doylean Honours Visual Arts Award is Vincent Mallié for his illustrations in the graphic novel adaptation of The First Adventure of Sherlock Holmes, A Study in Scarlet. Vincent was born in Paris, France in 1973. He received a bachelor's degree in economics, but soon after discovered a passion for drawing, which he pursued in 1992 when he attended l'École supérieure des arts graphiques of Paris, where he studied graphic design. He had his comic arts debut in 1996 when he published the series Hong Kong Triad. And since then, his comic and graphic arts career has taken off with many publications, including illustrations for Arsène Lupin, Gentleman Thief, as well as our winner today. In addition to success in the comic and graphic arts, Vincent has also worked in feature film as a storyboard artist, an interior decorator, as well as is an accomplished painter. So congratulations to Vincent. Unfortunately, he is not in attendance with us today, but we hope he is tuning in online and we'll deliver a certificate to him.
Scholarly writing is impossible to define well in just a few words. Indeed, the definition of scholarship is itself a scholarly subject filled with fierce debate and a wide range of views. Perfect for Doyleans, right? The best we can do, therefore, is to invite the Doylean community to nominate works of scholarship and then assemble a thoughtful group of respectable scholars to review the nominees, make the difficult decisions about which nominees should receive Doylean honors, and then present them. Everyone on the committee agreed with that this was a particularly difficult year for this committee. Very painful, in fact, because there were works definitely worthy of Doylean honors that we simply could not select because the people running the show would only let us give 3 awards. Cheapskates. So that is what we did. And I would like to salute the fine scholars who contributed their time, expertise, and care to the selection process this time around. Melissa Aho, Shravani Basu, Christine Korkus, Jonathan Cranfield, Maria Fleischock, David Leal, Sylvia Pambukian, and Simon Stern. Thanks to all. And now our 3 Doylean honorees for scholarly writing. Our first honoree is Emily Alder for her article, Arctic Ghosts, Whale Hunting and Haunting in Arthur Conan Doyle's The Captain of the Pole Star. She could just win for the article title, right? This was published in the autumn 2022 issue of Victorian Studies. Dr. Alder is a lecturer at Edinburgh Napier University, where she is a member of the Centre for Arts, Media and Culture and the Centre for Conservation and Restoration Science. She's the author of numerous articles and chapters in her fields of expertise, especially literature and science, environmental humanities, Gothic and weird fiction, and on, right? She's also has a monograph published by Palgrave in 2020 titled Weird Fiction and Science in the Fin de Siècle. To learn more about her, you should visit her website. I've only told you a few of the highlights. Our second honoree hardly needs introduction since he is our first repeat winner in the scholarly writing category. Professor Douglas Kerr received his first Doylean honor in 2022 for his edition of ACD's memoir, Memories and Adventures, published by the Edinburgh University Press. This time, we are honoring him for his article in the May 2023 issue of the journal Literature and History, the title of which is Arthur Conan Doyle, Eugenics and the Hand of God. Wow, there's a lot going on there. Douglas is currently serving as general editor of the Edinburgh Conan Doyle Project, while obviously continuing to pursue his own scholarship. You can learn more about Douglas and about that project at its website. And our third Doylean honoree for scholarly writing is Sylvia Pambukian, who, in the same spirit that Derrick exhibited, recused herself. So it's not to have a conflict with respect to this, but she won even without her own vote. For the chapter in her book, Agatha Christie and the Guilty Pleasure of Poison. We have some very creepy people. The chapter is titled Dying Game, Unrepentant Outlaws in Christie and Doyle. Published by Palgrave Macmillan in 2022, which the book, by the way, was also the runner-up for the International Crime Fiction Association's annual book award. Dr. Pambukian is University Professor of English at Robert Wood Morris University and Director of the University Honors Program there. Guilty Pleasure of Poison is Professor Pambukian's second monograph that takes a close look at ACD. Her first was Doctoring the Novel, Medicine and Quackery from Shelley to Doyle, which was published, well, a few years ago. None of our scholarly writing honorees could be here today. They are, however, attending either from Edinburgh or from Pittsburgh. So congratulations to all 3. And now, before we move on to the Wessex Cup, we have one more honor to present, the one for lifetime service to the Doylean community at large. Outstanding lifetime service is perhaps even more difficult to define than scholarship, but fortunately, we again have a committee, a special advisory board to address that challenge. The board is chaired by Clifford Goldfarb, who I believe is in the air en route here right now, and so he is neither present nor online. And the committee consists entirely of Doyleans whose own service and Doylean expertise are extraordinary. Alexis Barkeen, Catherine Cook, Doug Elliott, Douglas Kerr, Sebastian Lepage, Andrew Lysette, Glenn Moranker, Peggy McFarlane, Chris Redmond, Terry Sanjuanis, Dan Stashauer, and Dr. Richard Sveum. I believe a couple of the advisory board members are here. Thank you very much. Cliff could not be here today, and so he dragooned me to read his statement about our winner. We are pleased to award the Doylean Honor for lifetime service to Brian Pugh. Brian has virtually dedicated his life to preserving the memory of Arthur Conan Doyle. Among his accomplishments, his book, A Chronology of the Life of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, May 22nd, 1859 to July 7th, 1930, leaving clearly no day unturned, which has gone through numerous editions, culminating in 2018. It is an almost daily compilation, and it is one of the most used print reference sources available. Rumors of a new revised edition have been noted. You are under pressure, Brian. He was the curator of the Conan Doyle Crowborough establishment, which was active for 30 years, 1989 to 2019. During that time, Brian coordinated numerous events and assembled the Arthur Conan Doyle newsletter and birthday file, an annual compendium of articles and other information about Conan Doyle. Brian was instrumental in commissioning the Conan Doyle statue at Crowborough, which was placed in 2001, and he was the editor of the Hussar newsletter, dedicated to the study of the Brigadier Gerard stories. There is, reasonable minds have differed about whether the Brigadier or the Great Detective is truly the greatest invention of ACD. I'm merely observing that it has been debated. No rotten fruit, please. Brian cannot be here today. He is, I hope, watching us now on Zoom from his home in East Sussex. He will, of course, be receiving an envelope from us by post soon. Congratulations, Brian. Before we shift gears, or perhaps I should say change horses, to the Wessex Cup, we are going to take a moment for a quick preview of some Doylean Honors news. Don't worry, this is all good, or at least we think it's all good. The categories and selection processes will be just a bit different for the Doylean Honors in the coming year. These changes are changes we had planned to make a few years from now, when the ACD Society was steady on its feet. But because we are already steady on our feet, much to our own surprise and pleasure, we are doing them now. Basically, the ACD Society started out focusing heavily on the non-Sherlockian aspects of ACD because we knew that we needed to build some strength in that area. Much to our surprise, in just a few years, we've met a lot of talented and diligent Doyleans whose interests and expertise go well beyond Sherlock, sometimes exclude Sherlock, perish the thought, right? And whose work is worthy of Doylean honors. And we have seen a hearteningly high level of interest in non-Sherlockian aspects of ACD. In addition, many of you and your fellow Doyleans around the world have so quickly become so supportive of the ACD Society that we already feel, as I said before, steady on our feet. Steady enough that we think, and I've discussed this with all our selection committee chairs, that we are already ready to do a couple of things to make the Doylean honors a more sophisticated, all-embracing and durable vehicle for honoring works inspired by ACD's works and by ACD himself. In other words, our membership is sufficiently large and diverse, and interest in our society's work is sufficiently widespread that we are confident we can fully embrace Sherlock along with all the rest of ACD without being overwhelmed by the enormous and powerful popularity of Sherlock and the energy of Sherlockians. So here are the basics of our plans for the coming year, with details to be fleshed out in the next issue of that common newsletter and in our new nomination forms. And there are only two parts to this, don't worry. First, each Doylean Honors Committee will select honors in two subcategories, one for works about or inspired by ACD's Sherlockian output, and one for works that include non-Sherlockian ACD. That means that the committees for each of our 4 standard Doylean Honors categories, fiction and poetry, performing arts, visual arts, and scholarly writing, will each select 2 awards, a Sherlockian Fiction and Poetry Award and a non-Sherlockian Fiction and Poetry Award, a Sherlockian Performing Arts Award and a non-Sherlockian Performing Arts Award. And to save time, I will not say the same things over for the other categories. Plus, we will continue, of course, to have our special lifetime Doylean Honor Award. Number 2, second, we are dividing the into 2 stages. At stage 1, each committee will select up to 5 finalists in each of its 2 subcategories to be announced a few weeks before our January ceremony. This will enable us to recognize more of the excellent Doylean work, Sherlockian and non-Sherlockian, that is being produced every year. Stage 2 will be obviously the presentation in January of Doylean Honors to the winner in each of those subcategories. Again, things won't change for the lifetime service Doylean Honors. The other thing that won't change, we hope, is where we will be doing this. Feel free to cast your vote. We look forward to being back here next year and, as I mentioned before, for at least another 50 years or so. Welcome. All of this should mean more support for and more fun with Doylean Sherlockian works of all sorts, or at least that is what we are working toward and hoping for. And now the second part of our program today, the second running of the Wessex Cup. Peggy McFarlane will be presiding over the races. She is, after all, the equestrian outfitter extraordinaire. Obey her every admonition. Follow her every lead. But before Peggy takes over, there is a preliminary exhibition race to be run. A special to be lost or won by the 2 competitors. Rudy Altergott? Yay! Rudy? The moonstone is at the end. You better grab the moonstone.
Oh, okay. Excuse me, sorry about
And, drum roll, the truly mysterious celebrity owner against which the moonstone will be racing. None other than Otto Penzler. Who will be racing his horse, the woman in white, against Rudy's, the moon. What is the greatest of Wilkie Collins?
Go against Otto.
Just remember, Rudy, the outcome will affect whether you ever get a discount in here again.
Just because I'm not banned out. Yeah, exactly.
While Matt and Otto practice, and they should feel free to take a couple of practice rounds here, I'm going to run through the.
I've been training all week. I don't need to practice.
Okay, well, why don't you take 1 or 2 warm-ups? I'm going to walk through so that everybody knows how this works. Okay. There was a handout back there. I hope some of you grabbed it. That has a bracket for the 8 regular racers. Okay? Each of them has a bag like this. Did you get yours?
Oh, where? No.
There's one that it has.
Oh, is it at the end? I see.
It says, wait, where's the moonstone?
That's alphabetical. That's 4th and
There.
you know.
Oh,
Now, each
I can read it, I tell you.
get the bag like this, okay? And I'm going to help Rudy out.
Oh, thank you. Sir.
Okay, moonstone. If you pull one of the loose ends, the damn thing should come out.
Close to me.
Inside is a pink limited edition of today's bracket.
Oh.
Okay. And a stable. And if you open the stable, yes, what you'll find inside is a Wessex cup, right? And a backup horse. And a custom-made, extraordinarily outfitted horse. So this is what Rudy gets, and now what Rudy will be doing versus Otto, and I will not mess with.
Thank you.
I will not
Yes,
mess
please.
with
Thank
Rudy's
you.
horse because, well, we don't want any problems. But what he should do is take this, right, his horse, hold it against this bumper, right, turn it 3 times. What's that?
Two times.
Three
Not
times.
five. You remember Monty Python? Not
Five
is read out.
So you do three. The reason for doing three here is these are really cheap toys, and if you overwind them, you break the gears.
Oh.
So 1, 2, 3, right? And then on your mark, get set, and then you let go at go. And sometimes they make it, and sometimes they don't. Feel free to practice, Rudy.
Okay.
So we will have this exhibition race, and then we will have a running of the Wessex Cup, which will involve 20 rounds of races. We'll summon you up. Feel free to grab your bag whenever you like. Okay. And Rudy, are you feeling ready?
I think so.
Okay. In that case,
set?
would you like to call the race, or do you want me to call the race?
Okay.
Then we will have 2 practice runs.
Okay.
We will?
Yes.
Okay.
What, recall, if your horse runs into the other horse or runs into the side, you can change its orientation, but you cannot urge it toward the finish line. On your mark, get set, go. It does not bode well for reading.
No. I don't want to be banned from this store.
And that one didn't count, right? Okay.
Okay.
Oh. He is concerned.
Thank
He is concerned that the laudanum may have affected the race.
Wilkie.
Okay, you're getting an apple at the end of this, you know.
Are you 2 guys both ready? Do we need another practice, or is this the race?
Let's do it.
This is it.
This is it.
On your mark, get set, go.
Rudy, I carried you across the line. I like you. I know you needed help, so I was there for you.
I'm going to buy some of your books.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much. A race well done.
You're a good sport.
That was a little dirty, but you know, that's
Chicago.
Chicago. Well done. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
We do need to get these horses to their owners. Oh no, that's. So Peggy, you're on.
Yeah, okay. All right, so
Yes.
anybody who's going to be running, I would recommend you come grab your bag and then sort of stay right in the area. And when they start to leave some spaces there, maybe other people want to scooch in a little bit. If you can see a little better, within reason, we need to move a bit, but so let's just take a moment for everybody. Thank you.
Bring it on.
Hello.
Hugs from afar.
You stick right here because you're going to be first. Okay.
Wait, I'm Spider. Joe, we're gonna.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Okay, so a representative of the church was Joe and Ben. You can get right up here and you can.
So just stop blocking the camera. We'll just, thank you.
All right. And you're gonna set it here. I was nothing. None.
There isn't.
Okay. Two quick runs.
With our stage. Thank you. Emergency backup.
I'm the trainer. Oh, you're the trainer? Of course. You got a trainer? Oh,
We're gonna do our first run. So, Representative Sheriff and Ben, please, take your position. When I say go, go, go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. When's the first run?
all right.
Okay.
you.
Now, next up, we have Blue John versus Hassania. I'm on my way. Blue John. Hassania? Yeah. Am I racing alone? I'm coming. Are you coming? Oh, you're coming through the crowd. Yes, you can. Okay. Excuse me. So, thank you. Practice run. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, here you go.
We're doing practice run. Okay, ready?
Practice. Practice.
I hope she does that well. That's what she does. Let it go to the practice. Okay.
Practice runs, yeah. Okay. That was practice. Now we do. Oh, you peaked too soon.
Hold on. Line up. We're gonna go.
I saved, wasted my.
1, 2, go. Congratulations.
Right into the water.
We're racing each other.
Oh, that's speedy.
I have a little joke.
I think you get more.
Little flag. Yeah, little green and gold.
Oh, it's a little bit of comedy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The race.
Exactly. I love that. Yeah.
No, you might have to look to the other side.
Thank you.
1, 2, I feel like you can be a winner. And the final, Rio shoes and.
The practice run?
Yeah.
So do I just let it go? Oh, that's good.
Oh, look at this.
Got a whisper.
Whisper.
Okay, we just go.
These are practice
Yeah,
ones.
practice.
All right. All right, I'm going. I'll come back.
Oh, wow, Matt. It's just something I suspect of me.
Don't blow it on the practice.
It all comes back to me now.
You practice it.
All right.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah. The important thing is you wait till your good runs already.
One, two, go.
Right. Well done.
Now we're in
You know what? I know they're going to make.
Sorry, Mark. I'm gonna step on you.
no practice this time.
No
Important thing is when you have a pony named International Pony. Oh, okay, he's very, well, you could have, no.
Ready?
Important thing is. Oh, no. Oh.
All right.
More excitement.
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. Mavis, Mavis and Harold shoot.
Oh, no, the competition. Do we have breakfast? Or we just going?
No, you
Oh, you're just going on this one.
And I guess.
Go.
Extra oats in that one.
So now it's just 3 options. Versus, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I got you. I told you. I was gonna come.
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
This is it. This is it.
All right. Get ready. And you're gonna say ready to me.
A little bit of something.
Oh, everything. Okay.
For everything. Okay, this is the Kentucky. All right. Couple of Kentucky Derbies. All right. Back against.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, go.
Final hurdle. Take a photo of that.
Oh, thank you.
Tragedy on the course. Tragedy on the racetrack.
I mean,
Thank you, everybody who participated and who played. There's nobody like Sherlockians for being good sports and enjoying a bit of whimsy. Great pleasure to show, to present this cup to Joe, owner of Ruffian of the Turf.
Brilliant.
Keep the box.
Okay, before we go, one last cautionary note for all the ACD Society members, current or future, in the room. In years past, when you've received your annual membership card, you may have noticed that it's basically a chunk of wood. Okay, it's thick and laminated, and it won't fit in your wallet or purse or anything else. It's fancy but useless. This year, when you get your card, it will be a conventional business card kind of thing. Okay, for a reason. Okay, and the reason is that a hole punch will go through it.
oh.
And so you will want to bring your card with you next week, because there will be a reason for putting a hole punch through it when you submit the card next week.
Wow.
Okay? That is all I have to say now, except to read, in the spirit of the earlier announcement about the changes in the Doylean Honours Award, the quote that is on the card you'll be receiving in the mail in due course. This is a toast delivered by William Pett Ridge, a now largely unknown popular author of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, at a dinner at the Criterion on March 20th, 1902, where he said, "I could not love thee, Doyle, so much. Loved I not Sherlock more.
Oh.
Thank you all for coming. We'll see you next year.